was, right? I was literally just minding my business and I realized that the coat that I had on didn't really go. So I was like, you know what? Let me go get another one. So
I don't even have them. It's the only one, by the way.
it's the only one?
It's the only one.
Sorry guys, it's the only one. Can't get this one. The only one. Look at the color though. It's like,
Man, what had transpired was, I discovered that the coat I was wearing didn't actually fit when I was just going about my business. I thought, you know what? I'll go buy another one. They're not even with me. By the way, it's the only one. Just one? It is the sole one. I apologize. Folks, it is the sole one. This one is unattainable. It is the sole one. But take a look at the color. It's similar to asking, do you see? Do you look? When word got out that Papoose and Remy had spent New Year's Eve together, decked out in their customary opulent fur costumes, Claressa Shields did not bother to hide her frustration. Her response was obviously irritated and emotionally spent, even though it did not sound astonished. At this time, the scenario no longer seems harmlessly confused. Online users no longer pretend that what was once ambiguous is anything other than blatantly insulting. According to reports, Papoose and Remy greeted the new year together, with the same comforting vibe that they have always had. The sight attracted notice right away. The public presentation felt deliberate. The atmosphere remained consistent, and the connection was still apparent. For many observers from the outside, it appeared to be the recurrence of familiar patterns. On the other hand, Claressa seemed less shocked and more weary at being put in an awkward situation that she never requested. Many people immediately comprehended the subtle message she sent in her remark. It conveys a message when a man continues to spend significant holidays with his spouse, participate in family customs, and maintain public appearances. He is probably misleading someone else in the circumstance, whether he intends to or not. Everyone involved experiences conflicting signals, emotional uncertainty, and needless stress as a result of that kind of behavior. Papoose became the focus of criticism as social media responded almost immediately. He was accused by several users of attempting to live more than one life at once. Online comments indicate that he wants to maintain the image of a loving husband when it's convenient, appear single when it suits him, and act like a loving father when necessary. No matter how flawless it appears online, people have pointed out that this kind of balancing act does not work in real life. You will eventually come off as dishonest if you continue to be half involved and half detached. It doesn't demonstrate development or maturity to sit in the center. Rather, it frequently manifests as a fear of having to make a difficult choice. Putting on pricey clothing and grinning for the camera won't solve the issue. The mess underneath doesn't change. It just gives the problem a more polished appearance. A lot of Claressa's followers think she was drawn into an unresolved situation. From their perspective, she entered a relationship that was still in its early stages. The marriage was still intact. There were still strong emotional bonds and unclear boundaries. The past continued to resurface in ways that left her vulnerable and exposed, rather than allowing her to move ahead in a clean manner. Many supporters believe Claressa should have been honest from the start. There are major issues when you are in a relationship with someone who is still legally married, particularly when they continue to go out in public with their spouse. This unfairly places the new partner in a situation where they are supposed to be quiet, be understanding, and overlook actions that would typically arouse suspicions. Remy supporters' responses have been conflicting at the same time. Some people think she's just concerned with co-parenting and maintaining harmony for her child. From that perspective, spending time together over the holidays may be interpreted as prioritizing family. Others believe that keeping things ambiguous will only make things worse. Undefined limits lead to further conjecture and a never-ending drama. The fact that everything is so public adds to the unease. These are not private discussions taking place in secret. Every appearance, every picture, and every rumor instantly becomes social media fodder. What many onlookers are already thinking is reflected in Claressa's irritation. Everyone feels unneeded, uncomfortable, and ashamed by the overall scenario. This isn't really about fur coats, New Year's festivities, or social media posts at its core. It has to do with emotional duty and accountability. People suffer when relationships overlap and don't have a clear conclusion. Respect gradually fades, trust begins to erode, and emotions are manipulated. That reality cannot be concealed by wealth or luxury. Many individuals could relate to Claressa's response because it seemed genuine. She didn't try to make things dramatic or act as though nothing was wrong. Her response sounded worn out rather than envious. It sounded as though it had reached the point where tolerance finally runs out and uncertainty gives way to clarity. Jokes about the images on the internet may seem lighthearted, but there is a genuine emotional impact. Tension is always present when you are connected to someone who is unable to totally commit. One individual is left wondering about their worth, waiting, and hoping. No matter how powerful or self-assured someone seems on the surface, that kind of insecurity eventually gets exhausting. Many people think that unless Papoose makes a firm decision and sticks to it, this trend will persist. Remaining in the middle merely perpetuates the cycle and makes everyone look stupid. Making a decision does not entail pleasing everyone, but it does entail accepting accountability for how one's actions impact other people. The same narrative will recur if nothing is done. There will be more sightings, speculations, and awkward situations in the future. Every time the same queries will come up again, and the same annoyances will intensify. Public appearances and expensive clothing may temporarily divert attention, but they do not address the underlying problem. Claressa's response encapsulated the emotions that many others were already experiencing. It seems messy, preventable, and emotionally reckless. Watching it is no longer enjoyable. Rather, it feels draining. No matter how well-organized things seem on the outside, everyone concerned will continue to appear trapped until clear boundaries are established and sincere decisions are made. Silence eventually ceases to be serene and begins to resemble avoidance. Clarity becomes essential rather than optional. When one foot is constantly in the past, relationships cannot flourish. The chaos and damage will persist until someone eventually selects a lane and stays there. The realization that love shouldn't feel like a never-ending struggle for respect appears to be the source of Claressa's frustration. Unfinished business shouldn't force anyone to compete. While someone else reaps the rewards of commitment without accountability, no one should feel like an option. Ultimately, this incident serves as a reminder that emotional integrity is more important than outward appearances. Sometimes the hardest choice is the one that brings serenity rather than attention, and genuine closure is preferable than public comfort. Everyone involved will continue to pay the price until that decision is made, and the cycle will continue. Have you all noticed that? No, I won't even tell a lie. When I become enthusiastic, I get really excited. This is really fiery. No? Sure, no, perhaps? How do you all feel about the color? I noticed something more in the corner when we were here. Hold on, that goes with what you're wearing. I had on what I was wearing. You have to go skiing now. You mean this one? I'll watch how it flares. I need my bag, so hold on. Oh, and my spectacles. Hold on. Yes, pardon me. How much is that Rolls Royce over there? No, this is not giving that look. Gosh, oh gosh. I nearly told all of you weirdos out there his true name. You only know him as Zane, don't you? To find out his true name, you have to be a really special friend. However, this is fire. I won't tell lies. What is this? It's named Cross Fox. The Cross Fox? I'm Cross Fox. For those of you who, like me, are unaware. Hold on. You all know the test, don't you? Are you familiar with the test? These are the hood sides. What are we talking about? What are we doing? I'm heading out right now because this is my coat. It's mine. This is mine. I mean it. This is my coat. I'd like to purchase it. I want to wear this because it's mine. I'm very sorry, sweetie. To bid them farewell? Hold on then. I had to quickly notify them. Yes, this is my very first D'Angelo leather fur, which I recently filmed with Naeem. Take a look at the retro. Yes, that was an ancient label on mink and fox fur. Take a look at the vintage label. Now he's fancy. Ladies and gentlemen, now he gets to embroider me. And this is my brand new D'Angelo's coat. However, this is what I did when I went out into the streets, in this particular instance, because I had on my Timbs and intended to simply put them back on. No, please turn it over so I can read the comments. Wait, do you want to turn it over? All right. Oh, I'm not sure. That isn't black, in my opinion. It's black. That's it. All right. I am a mother for the first time today. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't recall my baby. Which year? That was around 8 years ago. It must be longer than that. My kid recently celebrated her 7th birthday. Yes, and that was unquestionably before that. Prior to her birth. I would therefore like to say at least 9 years. Yes, in my opinion. We weren't even discussing her birth. We were filming an episode of Love and Hip Hop. The year was 2017. I would assume that it was most likely in 2016 or possibly 2017. You are deserving of everything. I concur. I'm grateful.